Hello everyone. So today I'm going to go through 10 things that I think will happen under Donald Trump's presidency. Some of them are already happening. So let's go through the list one by one. Number one, the end of woke culture. What is the woke culture? It's the woke mind virus. It's this thing that argues there are 100 different genders, or that, men and women are the same, or that men should hate women and women should hate men, or extreme feminism, or identity politics. Anything that basically pretends to be woke, but is actually the opposite. Woke mind culture is a culture that needs to die, and is dying under President Trump because he says no to identity politics. We live in a colorblind, meritocratic society. That was part of his speech. Okay, so all of this nonsense of men competing in female sports has stopped because he already signed an executive order. Okay, this whole idea that Donald Trump was a bad person, he's a racist, he's a sexist, comes from the woke mind virus, because woke mind virus plays identity politics, and people that play identity politics are the most racist themselves because they see everything through the prism of race, sex, religion. They don't understand that individuals are unique and you shouldn't put people in a box, because that is true bigotry and that is true racism. Okay, so the fact that he's going to end woke culture, and he's already doing it, is a step in the right direction. Number two, freedom of speech. And as you have seen in the last 4 years, or maybe 8 years, cancel culture was rampant in America and all throughout the world. Employers were sacking their employees because of what they liked on social media, or if they've reposted something. And he signed an executive order saying employers can't sack their employees if they like something on social media or because of an opinion. We should have freedom of speech in our society, because freedom of speech is one of the most important pillars that keeps a democracy together. Without it, democracies collapse. And what they done in the last 8 years was that they hide their utterances in kindness. Oh, we don't want to be mean to people, we want to be kind, so we're going to ban anyone that's not kind. But that leads to lies. Woke mind virus and the cancellation of freedom of speech pretends to be nice, but it's actually doing the opposite. Okay, and we saw the pendulum swing when Elon Musk bought X. And now people like Mark Zuckerberg are also jumping on the bandwagon. I made a video about this. I don't really trust Mark Zuckerberg. However, the fact that he's doing the right thing now, and freeing freedom of speech on platforms such as Meta, and removing tampons from male bathrooms in Meta offices, it shows that he's also moving in the right direction. So freedom of speech is extremely important. And the fact that we have a president now that is willing to protect the First Amendment of Americans, something that was underlined and undermined under the last couple of presidents, under Biden and under Obama, is a step again in the right direction. Because without freedom of speech, we can't solve any issues. We can't push our society forward. It's beyond cancel culture. Without freedom of speech and being honest and being factual and being truthful, then you're not going to be able to solve important problems in your society, because everyone might be offended by something you said. Okay? Number three, coming out of international agreements such as and institutions such as the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Accords, which will allow America to drill, baby drill, as Donald Trump likes to say, and it will accelerate American sovereignty and control over their own resources, their own borders, their own courts. So this idea that we should be bound by a court, in the case of the UK, by the ECHQ, which people don't have any control over, and their court in the UK is not supreme. So it all goes to the European Court of Human Rights, which is ridiculous. And it was the same under COVID, when we had the World Health Organization that was dictating everything that what countries should do and shouldn't do. And it looks like that they were actually extremely wrong on many of the things that they said, and it's very important, because a majority of the international institutions, in my opinion, are becoming obsolete. European Union is obsolete. United Nations is obsolete. These things are becoming obsolete, and the fact that we should be bound by them, by a bunch of bureaucrats, by a bunch of globalists that make decisions for us, instead of the civilians of that country making a decision, for me, is absolutely absurd, especially when they try to force it and especially when they try to pretend they know better than you. This will allow America to drill, to do whatever basically they want, as long as their people agree with it and they're not bound by international institutions. A step in the right direction and a punch in the mouth to the globalists around the world. So as I said before, he's going to accelerate American energy, fossil fuels, drilling for oil, which is a great step because the energy prices in America have skyrocketed under Joe Biden. And America invaded all these countries for the last few decades just for oil, when they have their own oil in their backyard. So it never made sense to me. And something that they paid the price of. They spent trillions and trillions of dollars in foreign wars. But what did they really get out of it? Okay, a little bit of oil, but was it really worth it, killing all those people? I don't think so. We need fossil fuels to develop our societies. This whole environmentalist scam, it is a scam because it puts too much pressure on carbon. And every single thing, wind turbines, nuclear, they all have, you need energy for them. You need fossil fuels. In order to create electricity, you need fossil fuels. Okay, I'm not saying we shouldn't take a step in that direction, but at this moment in time, the most efficient energy source is fossil fuels, is oil. And until the whole world hasn't developed to a certain degree, we cannot go to electric. And the Paris Climate Accord was ridiculous because it was extremely one-sided. It had one rule for China, one rule for India, and then one rule for the West and the United States. And it was the worst deal for the United States because they had to go green now, whereas the developing countries, they could have kept using fossil fuels till 2030, accelerate their economy, build as much as they want, do whatever they want. When's the last time you see something built in Europe or in America? You know, so fossil fuels is paramount, not only for the consumer because it would bring down the price of energy, but also for the development of that country. And this will lead to America is resurrecting its own manufacturing industries. A lot of jobs have left the United States because, again, billionaires and millionaires and these companies were taxed to the hills, but also they had high energy prices. So they took all their companies to China, India, and they started producing there. And with the tariff war he's going to start, Donald Trump, a lot of these companies will be forced back to move to the United States and start building their own products in the United States. But it will work because they're not going to pay the tariffs. And if the energy prices are lower and they're creating jobs and, people start working back in the manufacturing, it will develop American economy, but it will also bring back these companies. And that will resurrect the manufacturing in America. I'll give you an example. If you look at Detroit, Michigan, and it was the hub in the world of making cars, but now you go to it, it's like a ghost town. Why? Because all those car companies have moved to China and India. And Donald Trump wants to resurrect that manufacturing spirit that made America great in the first place. So the number 6 is, I see world peace in the next few years. I think Russia and Ukraine will make a deal, as Zelensky and Putin have both came out and gave a statement. I don't think the Hamas-Israel war would have ever started, but now it has started and escalated by Netanyahu. Hamas is pretty much gone. Hezbollah is gone. Houthis are gone. And I truly believe in the next 2 to 4 years, Donald Trump will get rid of the Islamic Republic of Iran. He's already come out and said that I'm not going to negotiate with them. I'm going to put maximum pressure on them. And if the military option is on the table, I will take it. That doesn't mean that he's going to go and invade Iran, but that just means he's probably going to use American Air Force to strike strategic targets, whether it is IRGC members, nuclear facilities, or military bases. Something I'm actually really happy about. Number 7. Confidence in the markets. So when Donald Trump got elected, the next day, the markets skyrocketed. The stocks skyrocketed. And these are global markets. I know they say men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. If the market goes through a bull run after you're elected, that shows confidence in you as the most powerful man in the world, as the president of the United States. Even the crypto market started skyrocketing. So now there's a lot of confidence in Donald Trump. Why? Because they think he's going to strengthen the American economy. He's going to strengthen world peace and world order. and he's going to start making deals. Something that a lot of countries, even his adversaries, such as China, are excited about. Tax cuts. So this all goes together. If you have tax cuts, look, if you tax people, if you tax rich people specifically, they're going to leave your country. That's the same thing that's happening in the UK right now. Yeah. And basically, if you reduce taxes on the rich people, they will stay in your country and they will continue to create jobs, do, create products. I used to be thinking, when I came out of university, I had all my lecturers were Marxists and socialists. So when I came out of university, I had this mentality of, oh yeah, you should tax billionaires and we should tax corporations. So I had to re-educate myself because people get more and more conservative as they get older. I re-educated myself and I realized that no, when you tax people, they'll just leave and they'll just go to a cheaper country and start producing their products there. Okay, so it doesn't work when you tax people. So tax cuts, both for the middle class and for the lower class. If you start drilling for oil and energy, yeah, you're making money anyway. And if you have tariffs, you're going to make money anyway. So you don't even need to tax your citizens as much as you do. Okay, so he's going to reduce taxes for the lower class, middle class, and the top class. Okay, so it's going to be a good thing. And that will lead to a lot of businessmen, a lot of companies coming back into the US, investing their money in the US, start creating jobs in the US, and that will make America great as a whole. Secure borders. So for the last 4 years, we had I don't even know what to call it, ridiculous, open, maybe even corrupt, because we had almost 20 million people coming into the United States under Joe Biden. 20 million people. That's a whole country. Okay, so now he's going to build a wall. He's going to secure the border. He's going to resurrect policies such as remain in Mexico. And, as he said in his speech, we are spending all this money, protecting the borders of Ukraine and giving all this money to Israel when we have an invasion at our southern border. Migration is good. Illegal migration, I think, is bad. If you migrate to a country and if you're a competent person and you're willing to adapt and assimilate and you're willing to add to that society, then you're more than welcome as long as you go through the process. But illegal migrants from all over the world, people that you don't even know who they are, they could be murderers, they could be psychopaths, they could be rapists. How can you let 20 million undocumented immigrants into your country and expect nothing to happen? And the results are, you can see what's happening in LA now and in San Francisco. Swathes of homelessness. Same thing with New York and all these sanctuary states they have in America. So all these states are going down. Why is Miami going up? Because Miami is a Republican state. Florida is a Republican state. They don't have tolerance for this kind of illegal migration. And that's why California and New York are going down, both Democrats run, and states such as Florida are going up, a Republican run. And I think soon all of America will be on the way up. And lastly, I think this is a golden age because of the 9 reasons I've already mentioned. This will doing these 9 things will lead to my 10th point, which is a golden age. And this will be a catalyst for the start of AI, a new dawn of AI, new dawn of innovation. Regulation cuts and tax cuts will lead to the private sector being more innovative. He's got people like Elon Musk in his cabinet and people like Vivek Ramaswamy, which are going to, start DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, which will cut down on government spending and get rid of nonsense departments such as diversity, equity, and inclusion. All of these things will lead to a golden age in America. I really think the world will change a lot in the next 4 years. And I actually think J.D. Vance is going to become the next president after Donald Trump. If everything goes well, I see a lot of potential in him. So I don't think this MAGA movement will be over with Donald Trump. I think J.D. Vance is going to be the next president of the United States, unless the Democrats manage to bring a populist, charismatic character to run as their next candidate. Because at this moment in time, I do not see anyone on the Democratic side that will even get close to J.D. Vance. So I'm really looking forward to it. I worked hard to make sure Donald Trump is elected, and it was a great success. But now we shall wait and see what happens. I hope all my predictions come true. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments. If I missed anything, please mention it downstairs. Thank you.